Welcome. In this video, I'm going to be taking a look at this DIGITNOW multifunctional video recorder. So this was provided to me by the distributor, but they're not compensating me for this video and they're not reviewing it before I post it. If you find this video helpful and you want to purchase one of these, I'll put a link to it in the description on Amazon. And if you use that link, it helps me out a little bit and doesn't cost anything extra. So this supports 1080p 60 FPS video. It has a USB 2.0 interface. It has a 5-inch OLED screen. It supports analog AV and HDMI input. So you can use this to capture video from legacy equipment like VCRs, DVDs, camcorders, and you can also do modern capture with video game systems and computers. So let's get this open. We have a thank you card. Here's a warning telling you to format your SD card as either FAT32 or exFAT. Maximum capacity is 128 gigabytes, and you want to use a high-speed card, so you can format it right on the device itself. And here's the user manual. We'll take a quick look at it. So this talks about the different parts of it. It has a 5-inch OLED screen, stereo speakers, large capacity battery, supports input and output of 1080p video, supports input and output of analog video. It supports USB Type-C power. Here are the button functions. I'll go over some of these, but you can pause and read through that if you need. It charges with the USB-C. You store video on an SD card, and this kind of goes over the use of it. So I'll be going over a bunch of this in the video. Here is some troubleshooting. You may want to pause and read through that if you have this and you're having trouble and lost the manual. And here are some specs. So this talks about the supported resolutions here. The battery is 1800 milliamp hours. So now let's pull this out. So there we go. So this is made of plastic, it looks like. It has rubber feet on the bottom. So if you place it on a table, it won't slide around. There's a reset button, stereo speakers, that SD card slot. We have front menu buttons. They are tactile switches. Volume and power buttons on top, USB out. We have USB on the top, charging, and then we have our HDMI and AV in and out. Let's pull the bottom of the box out here. Okay, so it looks like it comes with an SD card. It's a 64 gig card. That's very nice. Here's the power adapter, 5 volts at 2 amps. Here's a legacy cable. So this supports composite input and right and left channel audio. USB-C charge cable. I'm going to plug this in and start charging it. And here we have HDMI cable. So to connect this up, you're going to want to connect HDMI in to an HDMI cable. Plug the other end into your computer, your video console, or whatever you're wanting to record. Then take the HDMI out and connect that up to a TV or a monitor. But let me clean this up a little bit. Let's start this up and take a look at the interface. So it might have started itself up. Okay, so it says no SD card, and the battery is charging. So I'll place the SD card in it. So it looks like the label needs to go down. I'll press in with my fingernail until it clicks in. So we have an indication that it has an SD card in it. So let's take a look at the buttons here. I'll look at the volume. So that changes here. If we press power, it does nothing. So I'll hold it down, and now it will shut off. So that feature is so you don't accidentally press the power and turn it on or off. So I'll hold it down again, we'll turn it back on. Let's take a look at the menu. So we have language, date and time setting. Let me change this. So to change the setting, I'll use the volume buttons. I'll go down. Okay, so the date is set. Next we have date stamp. I can turn that on or off. I don't really want to do that. And these are the movie quality settings. So we have 1080p 60H, 1080p 60L, and 720p. So if you're doing analog video, 720p would probably be fine. Otherwise, you could do the 1080p. And then the H is probably high bit rate and L is probably low. So I'll just leave it as default. We have video source. So we have HDMI and AV. We have auto stop recording. So we can set this to stop after a certain amount of time. I'll leave that as off for now. USB mode, we have charging and MSDC. So once you get the data on that SD card, you can plug it into a computer, or you can take the SD card out and put it in your computer. Now this has a USB 2.0 interface. It might be faster just to move the SD card, but you can really do it either way. Then we have default storage. So we have SD or USB, so you can plug a USB drive in there. We have schedule recording. So here you can use it kind of like an old school VCR. So you could hook this up to a tuner box or something and record something at a specific time. Turn that off. And we have restore factory settings and formatting. So I'll exit out of here. So let me hook a video source up to this. Here I have a PlayStation 4. Now for video, I'll connect up to the HDMI in on the capture device. And I'll plug that into the monitor output on the PlayStation. So we can see PlayStation coming up on here, but I want to see it on my monitor, so I'll take the output of this and plug it into my monitor. Okay, so now it's on my monitor, and it does appear that it either shows it on the big screen or the monitor. Yeah, so it switched back to there. Okay, so I have the interface on my monitor. I'll get a game going. Okay, so I have some gameplay. I'm going to press record. And we can see we're currently recording. So now I can play. Okay, let me pause that. I'll stop recording. Now I can hit mode on the recorder. And I'll hit OK, and we can play it. So now we're playing the video we recorded. So I'll insert this video here so you can watch the native capture.
I believe we should run now. We must keep moving.
I'm trying, pal.
Okay, so there's the captured video. Of course, we can also play that on this screen. So I'll unplug the monitor and I'll hit play here. And we can watch that video here. Let me hit mode to go back. I'm curious if I can play it on this screen. And I died. I didn't seem to have any problem playing it on this screen. Now, it may not be ideal to play it on this screen, but it is an option. Outside of the recording capabilities, it could be handy just having a small monitor like this. I could think of many uses just to have a monitor like that size. Let me get an analog device to test with this. Okay, here I have a Sony Handycam. It's probably 25 years old. It has composite output on it. So I'll plug into the right channel audio, left channel audio, and composite video. And then that will plug in here to the AV in. Now you can go into the settings to switch AV, or we can just press up arrow, and now we're on composite video. So I'll turn this on, and I don't have a tape in here, but we should be able to just get live video out of it. So here we can see the live video right on the screen. Let me record a quick sample with this. This is an analog video sample recorded with the DIGITNOW multifunctional video recorder. So I'm going to unplug this, turn that off. I'll switch mode here. We'll play that video. So I'll insert that clip so you can see it natively. Needless to say, that's not going to look as good as the HD video, but what we're judging there is the analog capture qualities of it. And on the screen it looks really good. I'm guessing it will look pretty good when upscaled too. This is an analog video sample recorded with the DIGITNOW multifunctional video recorder. This is an analog video sample recorded with the DIGITNOW multifunctional video recorder. Of course, composite video is the same kind of video you would find on DVD players, VCRs, and legacy game systems. So I recorded 2 samples. I didn't like the first one, so I'll go to that video and I'll hit menu. And here we have protect and delete. So I'll go to delete and I'll say single, yes. So now we just have the 2 captures that I did. So let's head over to the computer and look at the video file created by this. Okay, so I'm over at my computer now. I'll plug in the SD card. It's up on my desktop. I'll double click it. I'll open up video, and we have 2 files here. I'll open up the first one. So that's our video game capture. I'll go up to Window, Movie Inspector, and we can see some stats. So this was recorded at 1920 by 1080 and then 60 FPS. So the data rate for the whole video was 23.51 megabits per second, and the audio was recorded as linear PCM. So let's look at the analog video now. So the analog video was recorded at 480p. I wasn't sure if that was going to try and upscale it to 720 or 1080p, but 480 is actually the correct resolution for that. The data rate is 10.2 megabits per second, and the audio format is linear PCM. So it was real easy to access the video files on that card. So head back over to the recorder here. I'll hit stop. So the video you just watched was recorded on this itself. Now I do want to say that it does not record your voice when you're doing a screen recording. I was recording with a separate microphone and I merged it in later. You could potentially route your voice to the recorder. That's a little bit more advanced to do that. You would want to send the input from your microphone to your speakers. Typically that would cause feedback, so you'd want to wear headphones or have your speakers off while doing a recording of that type. And you may need special software to do that. So that's the DIGITNOW 1080p video recorder. I really like the ease of use with this. You can plug it right into your equipment. So say you have a video game console in your living room and you want to record your screenplay. It's nice that you don't have to drag a whole computer in there to hook up to it to do your recording. You can do it right on this device. I like that this also does digital and analog, so you can have one device to do all of your recording. So you could record your gameplay one day. The next day you could convert legacy camcorder tapes over to digital. You could also use this to display videos on the go to people. So that's really nice. Now this does run off power. I did have it plugged in. I'm going to let this charge up completely and I'll do a runtime test to see how long this can record. And then I'll put that up on the screen now. Okay, so I charged this all the way up and I connected it to my computer. And so the computer just wasn't the desktop. I pulled up a security camera on my computer. So we did 1080p, 60 FPS, and this ran just under 2 hours. And when I say just under, it was like a minute or two under 2 hours of recording. Now I might have actually had it on for a few minutes as I was setting it up, so I could have potentially even gotten 2 hours out of it maybe. Now this does break up the files every 4 gigabytes, so there are multiple files on it, and it was around 10 gig an hour. I think it was a little bit over that, but not much for recording. Now that could potentially vary depending on what you're recording, and it definitely would if you record at a lower frame rate or at 720p. And the battery runtime could potentially also be different from those. But it gives you an idea how much you can get off this with the battery built in. Of course, this gets powered with USB Type-C, so you could use a power bank or something to extend it. Now, if there's one thing with this that might bother some people, is it does have the little stats from the viewer on here, like when you're doing pass-through. That didn't seem to bother me. It's kind of up and out of the way, but it is something I wanted to mention. But it doesn't take a lot of technical skill to use this. It doesn't really take a lot of technical skill to read the files. It opens up easily on a Mac. It should open up on a PC, and you could always use the VLC video player. Oh, and I forgot to mention, when I was recording that screen capture, I was using this 128 gigabyte USB drive, because the SD card was in the computer. So that's all I'm going to cover in this video. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. If you liked this video, please click like. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I'd appreciate it if you could do that. And thanks for watching. Until next time, goodbye.